Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada Sarvamangalamangalle Sarvamangalamangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritat. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gunatito Aksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottamah Jano Janandidam Satyam Uchyate Bhavabandhanat. Om Bhagavate Shri Swami Narayanaya Namaha Shri Radha Krishnaya Namaha Shri Lakshmi Narayanaya Namaha Shri Nar Narayanaya Namaha Shri Uma Maheshwara Swami Ne Namo Namaha Shri Hanumate Namaha Om Namo Hanumate Bhayavanjanaya Sukham Kuru Pat Swaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 3rd of December 2022. We are continuing our exploration of mantra sadhana based on the Sabija sadhana of Dhyan. Remember, Dhyan is meditation. It is a concentration. So Dhyan can mean several things. One is that you're concentrating on a particular murti, particular mantra, particular path. It is a mental concentration of energy. When we use the word concentration, that is actually called dharana in reality. So dharana and dhyan, which we will talk about later in Ashtanga Yoga, but it is applicable here also. Dharana means to kind of hold, that you're holding and then you're concentrating. So the sadhanas that we have been talking about with regards to energy, with regards to Shakti, it has to do with using one's available power and connecting it with mantra. So this is where we left off yesterday, that when we speak a mantra, Om mantra, Namah Shivaya mantra, the Chamunda Devi mantra, Swami Narayan mantra, Nar Narayan mantra, any mantra, Lakshmi Narayan mantra, when we speak mantra, energy is required and energy is used, and energy gets channeled in that mantra. So when we speak the mantra is channeling energy in a specific pattern that the mantra is setting in the system. This is how it works. So when we speak, for example, Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche, this has its own pattern. It has its own intelligence. It has its own divine potentiality behind it. So when we speak it, our mental process, emotional process, our thinking, feeling, all of those things, they begin to align inside the mantra. So all 5 of those thoughts, emotions, memory, desire, energy, they align all together within the mantra. This is how mantra sadhana is done. And when someone is serious about doing mantra sadhana, then again, taking a shower, taking a bath, keeping the body clean, having a small puja set up, having a small diva, the asana should be clean, like that, facing east or north. There's some vidhi behind that, some rules behind that. So that is a good thing that way to do that way. Usually facing east or north is fine. And these mantras, depending on what they are, you can chant. Now see, the timing for Namah Shivaya mantra, anytime. You can speak that anytime. But the Devi mantras, you can also speak anytime, but nighttime the power is much more intense. And so that is why your bhavana has to be very pure if you're going to do Devi mantra at nighttime. You see, so otherwise it can turn into more rajasic and tamasic kind of thing, because our mind is degraded. It's not in sattvic state. That's why. But if the mind is in sattvic state at night time, my God, that is a beautiful. The mantra is the Shakti Upasana done at night time is 100 times more powerful than during daytime. So that is its power. But usually we have difficulty staying up and all. So that happens in more advanced stages. But the point is that it is a synchronicity. It synchronizes your energies, and then And then it creates a doorway into a jump forward, into a much greater realization where the swapna avastha, jagrat avastha gets cleaned up, totally cleaned up. You know what it's like? If we have a lot of junk in the house, right? A lot of trash and things are unorganized and all that, you have to do a thorough clean. Everything, bathrooms and kitchen and floor and carpeting and everything thorough clean. It is like that. When we are speaking mantras, they are going to clean up the house, that is the mind. That is the energies within the body. That is balancing the body. So the mantra has a very powerful impact, and the more mantra sadhana is done, to that extent, other aspects of our life get automatically balanced. The amount of food we're eating automatically rebalances in time. It is the right food at the right time in the right amount. It happens automatically. Because you will not feel like eating certain things. You will feel like eating certain amount only. So paying attention to one's experiences in every area of life is a critical part when you do sadhana. When you're doing sadhana, so many things change. And to recognize that our desires are changing. Even the things like that we want to watch on TV, the people that we want to be with, these things begin to change. They begin to change towards the divine. This is called parivartan. In Gujarati language, we say prakriti nu parivartan. It is a transformation of prakriti. Meaning what? Meaning what? That great Adya Parashakti, the Adi Parashakti, is infinite. It is infinite. So our transformation, it links us with that infinite, primordial, Anadi. Anadi meaning beginningless Parashakti. See, what does the word Parashakti mean? Para means beyond. The energy that is beyond the material universes. That is called Parashakti, beyond Ananta Koti Brahmanda. Brahmanda are galaxies. In one sense, galaxies are part of Brahmanda, but not fully. We cannot see the full Brahmanda with the senses only. So each Brahmanda has 14 lokas, and beyond all of the Brahmanda is this infinite power, but also present within the Brahmanda. So on every plane of creation, energy manifests itself into all forms of matter. It is the manifestation of energy that is studied in the sciences, physics and chemistry and biology and all the hard sciences and the soft sciences. They are all studying the manifestation of energy, the existence of energy in multiple ways, in multiple forms. Everything carries energy. A rock carries energy. First of all, a rock has existence. A mountain has existence. Our body has existence. So the existence that we are also intellectual beings. We are also in the human form. So we are then also aware that we have power. But we are also aware that power is being fragmented. Now we're going to go further into Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche. The Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche, this mantra, what does it do? It brings all the fragments together. The mantra has that potentiality because it is growing in the sadhaka. It is planted by Guru Krupa or by Bhagwan Shankar ki ichha. As I said to you before, this mantra, Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche, if you have Guru, fine. Prostrate to the Guru and chant the mantra. Keep a small murti of the Devi and the lamp and continue that way. If somebody doesn't have Guru, make Bhagwan Shankar the Guru, make Hanumanji the Guru, and you can chant the mantra. No problem. इस मंत्र के chant करने के लिए कोई issue नहीं है. If you're going to do higher sadhana in Devi Upasana, even with this mantra, then maybe some guidance can be helpful. But the point is that the murti itself, the flame, the jyot, the divya jyot, which I have not talked about before, that divya jyot is the sakshat Parameshwari. Isiliye, in every arti, in every religious ritual, there's always a lamp lighting, because the presence of Agni Devata, but it is actually the presence of the Divya Shakti. So when we do Havan, when we chant, when we keep a lamp on, when we keep the diva on, the flame, that flame is Jwala Devi. That flame is an aspect of Jwala. There's a whole Shakti Peeth called Jwala Tirth, Jwala Shakti Peeth. It's somewhere in the northern part of India. And that's a whole a further subject about what is this Shakti Peeth. There's 51 Shakti Peeth that are present today. But it is also possible to make your house into a Shakti Peeth. And in actuality, you become the Shakti Peeth. This is the point. The Jiva moves into that state through the mantra sadhana and bhakti. As I've already talked about this before, bhakti bhav with mantra sadhana, Bhagwan ki krupa, Guru ki krupa, and removing every negative thought, purity of energy, as I mentioned yesterday. And from that, the body itself gets tremendous power and energy, and it begins to vibrate with the mantra shakti. The vibration of the body changes. Why do you think, in the tradition of India, in many other traditions, when we see elderly people, when we see sages, when we see more advanced people, so we touch their feet. Charan sparsh. Even with the murtis in the temples, we do charan sparsh. Maybe they don't allow in the temple, but at home, maybe we can do in the temple like that. We do charanarvind sparsh. What is the reason? So that their higher vibration impacts our vibration. That's why when a son of a mother and father, with devotion with respect and love for mother and father, touches their feet, their energy that is inside of love directly flows on that child, on that teenager, on whoever. Actually, the fact is, when an individual touches another individual's feet, automatically Ashirvad comes. जो आशीर्वाद की जो शक्ति है, that is an internal power. This power comes naturally from inside. This is where mantra sadhana, it is awakening our emotions in a way where we are giving good feelings to others, good blessings to others, and also receiving blessings from others. So the sadhana, yes, sadhana is performed. How is it performed? Pretty straightforward. You take a mala, you do the mantra with the bhakti bhav, or you can also listen to. There are many ways of doing the sadhana, and as we do the sadhana, it will take hold. Now, is it instantaneous? No, it is not instantaneous. It depends on how much blockage there is in the system. Then it will break through. The Kundalini Shakti will break through all the blockages. And we don't want any blockages. Now, there's two ways to proceed with these blockages. One can say, oh my God, I have all these blockages and problems and this and that. And then we're doing sadhana with that belief that I have so much, all this crazy stuff going on. Things are there. The difficulties are there in life. So you say, when we're doing sadhana, we ask Paramatma, Parameshwari, to remove the difficulties. And when we're doing the sadhana, the biggest part of the sadhana is not to identify with those difficulties. We are identified. Identification in Sanskrit, it's called. There's a couple of words for it actually, but it is essentially, it is called the Anvay Swarup of the Jiva in technical language. A little bit difficult to understand right away. It means that the Jivatma is engrossed in this mind and thinks that this mind is me. Thinks that this life circumstances are me. The life circumstances and the mind and the body is not you. They are occurring in your experience. It's not actually who you are. That's the point, right? So when we are performing bhakti, when we are performing mantra sadhana, the sadhana is performed by letting aside every form of worry. We are asking the higher primordial Parashakti, Adi Parashakti, that is Nitya, beginningless, and Anadi, Adi Anadi, to bless us and to come into our life. And when that and that is not far away. So the sadhana that is done, it is done with bhakti bhav, not with ego. When it is done with bhakti bhav, the connection is quite immediate. It's right there. And then from that, after the mantras are chanted, one continues with one's life, holding on to that steady space, holding on to that wisdom. And through that wisdom, through that stability, one acts. Not through disturbance. That action that is performed after experiencing the stability is through the stability. It is through shanti, through steadiness, through wisdom, that is jnana, that action is performed. Action is not performed to revert back into those old disturbances. I hope that point is really clear. Many times what happens in the sadhaka's life, certain sadhana is done. You feel good for a while. You feel pretty good, things are clear. And then again, old problems, old difficulties, old thoughts, they come back again and they destroy the effect created by the sadhana, by the mantra sadhana. We don't want to do that. Then we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No. If we want a straight direction into realization of the ultimate truth, all of us who are doing sadhana, we have to be aware. We need to be aware that I myself, through my own ego, mind, and vasanas and attachments and difficulties, do not destroy the blessings that have come from doing the sadhana. This is the point. So when we are acting in the world, interacting and acting and moving in the world, we're moving through stability. We're moving in stability and harmony and a good quality energy. Even though there is all kinds of mixture outside, that is not penetrating on the inside. See this point. Not to bring any disturbance from the outside internally. It is there, deal with it, find a way to go through it and move on. Otherwise, one will be caught again and again and again. Because one is caught in not real. One is caught because one doesn't realize the actual freedom that is available through Sabija Sadhana, through bhajan bhakti, through mantra sadhana. Once we do mantra sadhana, then when the sadhana is stopped, that is where our further development occurs, because that is where our interaction with life and our day-to-day schedules, it is all done with joy, with ananda, with love. This is called mantra sadhana. And then again, one can do more. One can increase the mantra sadhana. But as we mentioned before, that if we are at one stage, try not to go below. That is how the sadhana really takes hold. The energies begin to expand and grow because you are accumulating the wealth of spirituality inside your system. And that is the only wealth that is going to come with us. Nothing else is going to come with us anyway. If someone has X number of dollars in the bank account and dies like that, do you think that person is going to take anything with them? And that wasn't even theirs. Only thing that is ours is what we use in this world. Nothing else is ours anyway. It'll go to somebody else. The children, family, government, taxes, this, that. It'll go to somebody. It's not ours. What we use is ours. That's all. Not even one electron beyond that is ours. Then the Jivatma is stuck in karma and all that. That's the bigger problem. So the fact is, when we are living in this world, are we living in connection with that Param Shakti, Parashakti? If we are, where is the issue of limitation? It is called Antarik Vaibhav. And to open the Antarik Vaibhav, increase the sadhana. Steady sadhana. Regular, but it requires conviction, that is Nishtha. It requires faith, that is Shraddha. It requires patience, that is Saburi, as Sai Baba used to say, from Shirdi, Shraddha, Saburi, very famous people know about that. It also requires some guidance sometimes, that wait a minute, which mantra should I do, etc. But as we mentioned before, Namah Shivaya mantra, Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Vichye mantra is good for everybody. Everybody needs to do that. Other specialized mantras are there, those are further subjects. So as we are moving in life, it is a creative destruction. So when, let's say Sachin decides that I'm going to do Namah Shivaya mantra, start doing Namah Shivaya mantra at 6 a.m. in the morning for 15 minutes. Maybe whatever, you can do it time-wise, you can do repetition round-wise. Let's say 5 rounds of the Namah Shivaya mantra. It can be done in about 15 minutes. Okay, but then Sachin decides, well, I want to do this for 2 weeks. Okay, fine. So you have to decide, I want to do this way for this much period of time. Why am I doing it? But ideally, if 5 rounds are done, they should not be diminished. If you're trying to get to mantra siddhi. Now what is mantra siddhi? Mantra kab siddh hota hai? Once you have spoken it so often that it is held inside the system, and what the mantra is referring to, the reality that the mantra opens is available for you. This is called mantra siddhi. ठीक है? इसको क्या कहते हैं? मंत्र सिद्ध हो गया. Mantra kab siddh hota hai? When does that happen? When one is serious about doing the sadhana. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. We have a Shivling, a beautiful Ganesha Murti, and Shiv Parivar like that. And you start doing the sadhana. What happens? People usually just go back and forth. They don't get to Siddhi. They don't get to that point where the mantra is Siddha. But if you are interested in that, then the mantras have to be done very systematically, regularly. And when just stick with Namah Shivaya mantra, see what happens. And see the changes that occur in life. Wow, it is so fantastic. So you can do in the morning, then in the afternoon, then in the evening, then at night time also. You can do it so many ways. Why not? It can increase. But sadhana done regularly is done with love and affection, and the bhavana is the main point. It's not just the quantity. Some people say, well, I'm going to do 51,000 times the Namah Shivaya mantra. Fine, do it. But don't forget to set the bhavana in love and affection, and it's the adoration. And as the sadhaka increases sadhana, the wanting of other things begins to fall away. Because the rasa, there is the rasa. Remember we talked about this before. The rasa, the enjoyment of doing the sadhana begins to expand. That is how the bhakta and Bhagwan is called bhakta Bhagwan Sambandha. It is the relationship between the bhakta and Paramatma. It is called Dvaita Bhav. It is dualistic bhakti. And this dualistic bhakti is possible and good to do for everyone. But do it in a way that is for the benefit of everyone. Bhakti kabhi bhi asuri bhav se karni nahi chahiye. Negative bhav se bhakti karni nahi chahiye. Kabhi bhi nahi. That is not bhakti also. That is only ahankar. So when bhakti is performed, it is performed with a great sense of adoration. Or uska mahima. Now let's go a little bit further. Remember I mentioned yesterday about shastras and stotras and mantra. How this all connects together. Then we will definitely move ahead from this a little bit further. If someone is worshipping Shiva, for example, there is Shiv Puran. There is Shiv Puran का जो study है वो करना चाहिए. That is called Shastra Abhyas. Then the mantra is Namah Shivaya mantra. And other mantras are there, but Namah Shivaya we're talking about. So that is mantra, that is Shastra, which is the Shiv Puran. Then there are stotras. There are all kinds of Shiv stotras. There's the Shiv Sahasranam, there is the Ashtottar Namavali, the 108 names of the Linga. There's so many. What is the Mahima of the Shiv? It is an infinite subject. Ananta baat hai isme. But this is how the sadhaka begins. This is called Ishta Bhakti. Ishta Nishta, Ishta Bhakti, which connects one mantra with one Ishta Devata, with one scripture. That doesn't mean one becomes fanatical. It says, well, I'm worshipping Shiva, I'm not going to go to a Krishna temple, or I'm never going to do a church, or I am this and I am... Not that nonsense. That is a destroyer of spirituality. Not that. This is for focusing your sadhana in one place, in digging in one place. That's what Shankaracharya is saying here. You dig down. You dig down in one place, and you excavate, khananam. You start going inside there, and it is called one nishta, ekanishta, swarup nishta, mantra nishta, dhyana nishta, guru nishta, shastra nishta, and from that nishta, your relationship with Ishta Devata develops. Now, what about all the other forms? What if a Shiva Bhakta goes to a Krishna temple? He loves Krishna also. He loves Ram also. He loves other sages also. No problem. But he sees Bhagwan Shankar in that form. He sees only his Lord everywhere. Like Ramakrishna Paramahansa only saw the goddess Kali everywhere. That doesn't mean he's not seeing the diversity. It is like that. It is Ishta Nishta, Ishta Bhakti. Now, some people are not at that stage to do that. So this has happened where I've come across many people in my life where they say, wait a minute, we love Hanumanji and we love Ganeshji and we love, we love everybody. Okay, you love everyone. But if you probe, you will see there's one swarup you are most attracted to. One particular path you are most attracted to. One particular type of bhajans or sadhana that draws you inside. What is that? Find out what that is. If that is not easily available, don't worry. Continue all different bhajans, kirtan, mantras, do different things, and it will come about. And also, then some people say also, wait a minute, if we're going to do, Chamunda Devi mantra, we're going to do Namah Shivaya mantra, we're going to read this, we're going to go to Sai Baba Mandir, we're going to go to Swaminarayan Mandir, we're going to go to a church, yes, you can go everywhere. Spirituality is not restriction. Some people are, in Gujarati we say Kattarvadi. Kattarvadi means they are just, they have misunderstood Nishta as fanaticism, Kattarta. That's not Nishta. There's some history in Gujarat, in other places also throughout India. Some Vaishnavas will never go to a Shiv temple, will never go into never you even say the word Shiv actually. तो ये किस प्रकार का अज्ञान है? That is a Maha Agnan. That is not only Agnan, it is a Maha Agnan. The reason behind that is because Bhagwan Shankar is also the Pratham and foremost Vaishnava Bhakta of Bhagwan Vishnu and of Bhagwan Krishna. ये किस प्रकार की बात है सब? This conflicts that go on between Vaishnavas and the Shaivites and between this is all Agnan. That has nothing to do with Adhyatma. It is a misunderstanding. It is a misunderstanding of spirituality. It happens throughout the world. Somebody says, I'm believing in Jesus, 100% in Jesus. Well, you believe in, but what did Jesus say? Love everybody. He says, you come to me. Okay, that is your Ishta Bhakti, Ishta Nishta. But it doesn't mean to harm others. It doesn't mean to hurt others. It doesn't mean to trample on other people's beliefs. It doesn't mean to destroy other traditions. I'm not saying people are doing that, but it cannot interpret that way. And there's certain groups of people in every tradition of the world. They are intent on destroying somebody else's tradition, somebody else's path, somebody else's good things. They want to obliterate that, so they want to establish that ये क्या है? ये अहंकार है. This is ego. This is not spirituality. To show one's own path and one's own vision and to share what one has discovered and to share the beauty of one's path with others, that is sharing the glory of God. That is sharing the bhakti bhav with others. That is not to destroy somebody else's bhavna. दूसरे की भावना पर ये जो करना, to try to damage that and to try to deliberately change their natural tendency, ये बड़ा पाप है. इसमें कोई पुण्य का काम नहीं है. कोई कृष्ण की भक्ति करते हैं, उसको कह रहे कृष्ण की भक्ति स्टॉप करो और हम जो कहते हैं वो करो. He was devoted to Krishna. Who are you to tell that person to stop? हमारे पास किसी का ये अधिकार नहीं है. And there are many sampradayas in India today and throughout the world. They are intent upon destroying somebody else's devotion. Unfortunately, not the gurus, not the original teachers, but the people that have come after. This is their main purpose. It seems like sometimes that's what they want to do. This is not acceptable under any circumstances. And the people who are listening to all of this thing from every angle recognize, where is your devotion? 100 people are going to tell us 100 things. हमारे natural tendency क्या है? I'll give you an example. Just here in Delaware, there was a 16, 17-year-old fellow. He was a Gujarati fellow. He used to go to one of these temples in Delaware. And so the people in that temple were telling him to stop what he was doing. He loved Bhagwan Ram. I want you to listen to this exact situation. ये कितनी विचित्र बात है ये. I asked him, I said, you're going to this mandir with whatever they're teaching you is okay, fine, no problem. You love it, you like it, it's okay. I asked you, which swarup you are most attracted to? He said, nobody ever asked me that question. He said, but really in my heart, I love Bhagwan Ramchandra ji. I said, if you love Bhagwan Ram, the people in that temple, they should be telling you to read Ramayana, do the Ram mantra, Bhagwan Ram ki bhakti ki pushti karni chahiye. In fact, if he keeps the image of Rama inside his puja or inside, they will say, remove this thing and put what we're. How can this be spirituality? I cannot tell you how many times I've heard these kinds of things. In our own Indian tradition, it is not acceptable under any circumstances, this kind of behavior by anybody. This is why Shankaracharya ji put here Panchayatana Sanmanaya Namaha. In Shikshapatri, Bhagwan Swaminarayan emphasized these 5 devatas. He also stated to his devotees, who are actually more on the Vaishnava side, he said, if you go to the Shiva temple, if you are even driving by or walking by a Shiva temple, you have to stop there and you have to offer your pranam and respect and everything and do your puja and do the puja of Bhagwan Shankar. Who are you to think you are greater than Bhagwan Shankar or anybody else? ऐसी प्रकार का बहुत चल रहा है even today. This kind of crazy things are there and they are destroying the fabric of Sanatana Dharma. This kind of thinking, it is fanaticism, it is Kattarvad, and Shankaracharya ji is totally blowing that away. Every great Acharya, they have shown their great pathways, they have shown their great approaches, but they have also shown that you connect together and do not disrespect somebody else's path. Do not try to impose your path on somebody else. This is a fact. ये एक सत्य बात है. And originally in the history from Vedic times, the gurus never imposed themselves on anybody. They also did not consider themselves as guru. This is the other interesting thing. Real gurus, real sadgurus are not even aware that they are somebody's guru. The sun is shining for all who wants the sunlight. The sun shines if nobody is there, if everybody is there, whatever is there, it continues to shine. Its shining is not dependent on anybody else on the outside. वो जो ब्रह्म स्वरूप संत जिसको कहते हैं, उनकी ओरिजिनल स्थिति होती है. They have their own state. Their state is not dependent on the people of this world or on how many followers there are or how many people are worshipping them or how many people are glorifying them. उनकी स्थिति is not based on this. वो उनके हार्ट में करुणा है. That's why they start different organizations and all those things. वो तो एक माध्यम है. It is a means to an end. It is not an end in itself. Like for example, in Delaware, we have so many churches, we have so many temples, we have so many people, like just everywhere all throughout the world, right? Those are means to an end. They cannot be utilized to create division, dislike, hatred, and then violence. Division, dislike, hatred, and then violence. This is the progression that has happened in thousands of years. It's not a progression, it is a regression, but this is how the divisive attitude. My belief is different from your belief. So what? This is why Namah Shivaya mantra and this Aim, Reem, Kleem, Chamunda, ye jo do mantra hai na, this will fix everybody's buddhi. The buddhi mein jo rog hai na, this is a disease inside the human consciousness. It is to be fixed by these two mantras. Because these two mantras are not about Hinduism. It is not about a particular temple, particular sampradaya. It is not about a particular group of people. No mantra is. It is for everybody. Namah Shivaya mantra is for every single life form. Because every single being is Shiva, is the Atma Tattva. And that mantra is a blessing for everybody. It has nothing to do with creating boundaries and divisions and whatnot. Impossible. It's like saying, you know what? Take ibuprofen or Advil. Advil is only for people living in state of Delaware, New Jersey, and Maryland. That's it. It belongs to us. It doesn't belong to anybody. How foolish is that? And medicine is for everyone. We cannot say that penicillin or ibuprofen or an antibiotic is only for a particular group of people. We cannot say that. It is meant for anybody who has that particular problem. It's for everybody. We cannot say an apple belongs to people from India. You see how simple this is? What is the religion of fruits and vegetables? I'd like to somebody answer that question. What is the religion of water? What group does air belong to? What group does this Prithvi belong to? When we think of the earth, we have that map in our mind. But that's a false thing. There's nothing that is a relatively created, human constructed boundaries. You go look at the earth from outer space, look at Google Earth. You can look at it, without all the cities and everything else, without all the boundaries. It's a one mass of existence only. This is Vedanta. The evolution of the jiva into this expansive, great open mind, so that we are living in Satyam, Anantam, Brahma. Not in these small-minded kinds of things that are trying to grab position, power, name, fame, trying to expand one group versus another group, trying to damage somebody else's path. No. That is wo ek bada paap hai. And that is hurting in the Hindu community even today. That is hurting millions of people. This kind of attitude. This is not acceptable. And it is not acceptable, and the only way to get out of that is for each individual to realize, what am I doing? What is the actual spiritual? Not because Sachin is saying so. One has to have the study of that. And one must recognize that never hurt somebody else's feelings, and to hurt somebody else's development in the spiritual path, isse badi kharab vastu kya hai? That should never happen. So it is very, very critical that when we are taking spiritual path, ego doesn't develop. Because sometimes you start feeling, my path is fantastic. Yes, it's fantastic for you. But then this other thing begins. Bring everybody into that fold. That's it. Get rid of everything else and bring. Why you have to do that? If they want to come and follow your path, it's okay. If you want to take something from their path, that's actually when people are following different marga. Follow one marga. Like as I mentioned, Ishta Devata, one Shastra, one Guru. Yes. But never, under any circumstances, disrespect another's path. In fact, try to take something good from there and add it to your own. And they can take something good from you and add to their approach. This is the heart of Sanatana Dharma. But unfortunately, that what has happened today, with over 30,000 sampradayas in Sanatana Dharma, with different groups coming up every year, hundreds of new groups are coming up. They're going to come up. But the truth is one. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. Paths may be many. And never to damage another's path. That is to be. Another way to put this is to complement. If somebody is worshipping Bhagwan Shankar, yes, the sadhana is different than worshipping Bhagwan Vishnu. There's no question. The tilaks are different also. There's a reason for that. That is not a negative thing. If you're worshipping Bhagwan Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan, and worshipping the Vaishnava tradition, there is a whole sadhana and tattva gnan behind that. But that does not mean that there is any disrespect or any kind of division with the Shaivites. We use this word Shaivite and Vishnavite and ites. This is another Western word that has been inserted inside. What is this word ite? Get rid of this thing. This is a wrong idea. There's no ite. If you have a ite, there's a bite. Then you're biting each other, hurting each other. You see, this is that is a fact. So we don't want to be ever in that space of hurting somebody else's bhavana, somebody else's marga. There was a incident. I'll close with this. This happened somewhere in South India many years back. It was pretty well documented. And it was a very sad situation where there was an elephant to be used in a puja, to be placed in a puja, actual living elephant. And in that particular village, half of the village was worshipping Bhagwan Vishnu, other half is worshipping Shiva. The Tripunda one side and the Urdhva Punda, like this, right? So in that process, they had one group of people put the Tripunda this way. Then the other group came in. No. This puja has to be done in Vaishnava way. So erase that one and put the U shape on there. Put the upward tilak. And in doing so, they were pulling and tugging against that elephant so much they killed the elephant. इसको कहते हैं अज्ञान, इसको कहते हैं राग द्वेष का जो एक प्रतीक. This is ignorance. This is where fanaticism comes into play. So what difference does it make what mark you put on there? You understand, can you see the elephant as a form of Ganesha? Can you love each other? Who cares what mark you put inside? You've killed the elephant actually. This is an example of holy wars, religious wars, people hurting each other, damaging each other. See, even in the religious side, which I have not talked about much, this has happened quite a bit. And this is an incident that was well documented. Then the priests all came together, then they did some Shanti Yagna. We should have done the Shanti Yagna before all this thing. That poor elephant would have given you lots of blessings. But ye kya hai sab? This kind of thing goes on. This kind of thing goes on where one's belief is imposed on somebody, imposed on an animal that cannot talk to you. Is this spirituality? ये क्या है? ये राग, द्वेष, अहम ममत्व का प्रादुर्भाव इसमें आता है in अध्यात्म. It's not अध्यात्म. Real Vaishnavas, if they see a shivling, this is written in Gnaneshwari. This is written by Sant Gnaneshwar in Gnaneshwari from Maharashtra. He said if it's a pure Vaishnava, if he sees a shivling, he prostrates so many times like a dand, like a stick that falls, like a dandvat pranam karte hai. That is the adoration for Bhagwan Shankar, for Bhagwan Ganesha, for the Devi. When you see any of the deities in the Sanatana Dharma, and even if you see a church or if you see a mosque or you see any religious place, you bow down with respect in your mind, because you're worshipping the same Paramatma. There's no two gods. God is only one. God is in the heart, and God is everywhere, and there's only one, not two different things. And the more divisions there are, the more diversity is beautiful, not a divisive heart. Bade sant ho gaye in the past and today. They may be showing a particular path, particular approach, but they don't have divisiveness in their heart. Anybody who has divisiveness in their heart is not even anywhere near spirituality. It could be anybody. ऐसी सब अलौकिक बात है, अद्भुत बात है. Sachin is not trying to criticize anyone, just trying to point out what is Shankaracharya ji's actual teaching. What is Adhyatma kya hai? Adhyatma is not hurting one another, and especially never under any circumstances hurting another person's spiritual progress. कभी भी नहीं. ये बहुत बड़ा पाप है. अरे ये कभी भी नहीं करना. ठीक है ना? So that is the most relevant thing. We should see how to enhance our path. Respect others, love others, find out what is our further development, and take good things from every angle. But at the same time, you have to follow one path. Just like a student in a university has to follow the syllabus of the university. But the university cannot say that physics and chemistry and biology and astronomy belong only to us. How can they say that? If they say that, that university is crossed out immediately. It is like that. ऐसी बातें, अलौकिक बातें सब. This is called अध्यात्म. ये सब शंकराचार्य जी का real teaching है. Hari Om, Shri Hari. Now let us do the Shama Prarthana and then we will stop for today.